Hello friends, how are you? Good morning to all. Today we are going to discuss 10th Maths chapter 2 polynomials. In this we are going to cover different topics. In this we are going to cover introduction. In introduction we are going to cover what is meant by polynomial, what is meant by degree of the polynomial, and what are different types of polynomials, that is linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial, cubic polynomial, and what are the examples for different types of polynomial, and what is the value of the polynomial, what is meant by zeros of the polynomial. All these topics we will cover in introduction part, and in second part we are going to cover geometrical meaning of zeros of a polynomial. Okay, what is zero of a polynomial and how we represent graphically the zeros of a polynomial? What is the significance of that zeros of a polynomial? And what are the shapes of different types of polynomials and their geometric representation? And what are the examples related to the geometrical representation of the polynomial? And problems related to that geometrical meaning and zeros of the polynomial. All those topics we are going to cover in session 2. And in third session, we are going to cover relationship between zeros and coefficients of the polynomial. Here, relationship between zeros and coefficients of the polynomials. What are the formulas for different types of polynomials? Okay, we have three types: linear, quadratic, and cubic polynomials. In all those polynomials, what is the relation between zeros of the polynomial and coefficients of the polynomial? The sum of the zeros, product of the zeros, and their formulas, and examples and problems related to that zeros and coefficients of the polynomial. All those things we are going to cover briefly and clear explanation. Okay, please listen carefully. In the introduction, the first thing is what is meant by polynomial. Here the definition of the polynomial is like this: a polynomial is a mathematical expression that uses variables, coefficients, and constants combined with addition, subtraction, multiplication, and exponentiation. The word polynomial comes from the Greek word poly, means many. Okay, actually what is meant by polynomial? Polynomial is a mathematical expression that uses variables. Variables means that are changing with respect to the value, variables, and coefficients and constants. All these are combined with addition, subtraction, multiplication, and exponentiation. All these things we will combine and we will form an expression, mathematical expression. Such type of thing is called a polynomial. A polynomial comes from the Greek word poly. Here poly means many. So many things are combined to get a mathematical expression, that is called a polynomial. Okay friends, in the examples we will see how that polynomial will be like, so that you can clearly understand. See here. First, the polynomial is in this form like this: 4x plus 2, 2y square minus 3y plus 4, 5x cube minus 4x square plus x minus 2. So, see this, in this polynomial what we have? Variable. Here variable x is there, and this constant is there, and this plus sign is there. This is the combination of variable x and constant 4 and constant 2, coefficient. Here 4 is the coefficient of x. So coefficient, constant, and plus sign. Okay, and here you see 7u square minus 3 by 2 u power 4 plus 4u square plus u minus 8. Yes, sir, here plus is missing. plus u minus 8. Okay, this is also one polynomial. Here what we have, u square, where u is the variable, 7 is the coefficient, here u is variable, minus 3 by 2 is the coefficient, 4 is the coefficient, and 8 is the constant. All these are combined with plus, minus, and divided by, and so on. So this type of many things are combined in one mathematical expression. Such thing is called a polynomial. Okay, polynomial is nothing but a combination of different types of variables, mathematical coefficients and constants combined with plus, minus, divided by, and into, all those things combined. If we form a mathematical expression, then that is called the polynomial. So here the first point is, what is degree of a polynomial? What is meant by degree of a polynomial? If p of x is a polynomial in variable x, the highest power of x in p of x is called the degree of a polynomial. Suppose if you take 4x plus 2 is a polynomial in variable x, here x is the variable, it will be represented as p of x. Okay, p of x. So if p of x is equal to 4x plus 2, then what is the degree? Degree is nothing but highest power of x in p of x. Here what is the highest power of x? What is the highest power of x? Here only one x is there and this power is 1. So this polynomial degree, we can say it is 1. Suppose if you take another polynomial in y, 2y square minus 3y plus 4. Here this polynomial is represented in p of y, variable y, and this is the polynomial. In this polynomial, what is the degree? Highest power of that variable. Here what is the highest power? Here two y's are there, this y square and y. In that, what is the highest power? Y square. So this 2 is the highest power. That means the degree of this polynomial is 2. Okay. And one more example, if you see 5x cube minus 4x square plus x minus 2. In this, it is a polynomial in x, and what is the variable x? Here how many x's are there? X cube, x square and x, 3 x's are there. In this, what is the highest power? X cube is the highest power, this is x square and x. Here x cube is the highest power. So what is the degree of this polynomial? This polynomial degree is 3. So basically what is meant by degree of a polynomial? If p of x is a polynomial in x, what is the highest power? Remember this term. Highest power of x in p of x is called the degree of the polynomial p of x. So we need to take all the variable values in this, and what is the highest power of in that variable, that is called the degree of the polynomial. And this last example, if you see 7u square minus 3 by 2 u power 4 plus 4u square plus u minus 8. This is the polynomial in u, p of u. And p of u, we have how many are there? U power 6, u power 4, u square, u 4 are there. In this 4, what is the highest value? U power 6 is the highest value. Okay, all remaining are less than 6. So what is the degree of this polynomial? Degree of this polynomial is 6, because it is the highest power of that variable. Okay, and let us check this one, 1 by x minus 1 and root x plus 2 and 1 by x square plus 2x plus 3. These are not polynomials. Here these variables are there in the denominator or it is in the root form. Such type of polynomials are not called, such type of things are not called polynomials. Here the degree is always an integer value. Okay, if it is in divided by form, it is not a polynomial. Only when it is in numerator form, then only it is a polynomial. So it is in the denominator or the degree is in terms of root, here x power 1 by 2. Such type of things are not polynomials. Only this degree is a integer. So that means all these types 1 by x minus 1, root x plus 2, 1 by x square plus 2x plus 3, these type of things are not polynomials. So 1 by x minus 1, root x plus 2, 1 by x square plus 2x plus 3. This is not a polynomial. This is not a polynomial. This is not a polynomial because here the power of x is not an integer. So it will not contain any degree. So it is not a polynomial. These are not polynomials. Okay. Now we will see what are different types of polynomials. In that, first one is linear polynomial. A polynomial of degree 1 is called linear polynomial. If you consider any polynomial, then the degree of the polynomial is 1, then it is called a linear polynomial. If you see this 2x minus 3, here only one variable is there and maximum power is, highest power is 1. So it is linear polynomial. And here also root 3x plus 5, here only one x is there, power is 1. Here y plus root 2, 1 y is there, power is 1. X minus 2 by 11, 1 x is there, power is 1. 3z plus 4, 1 z is there, power is 1. 2u by 3 plus 1, 1 u is there, power is 1. So all these type of polynomials having highest power of 1, that means the degree is 1. If degree is 1, then that polynomial is called a linear polynomial. If degree is 1, then that polynomial is called a linear polynomial. So here see this 2x plus 5 minus x square. This is not a linear polynomial because here the highest power of x is 2. That means degree is 2. So it is not a linear polynomial. Only degree is 1, then only it is a linear polynomial. Here x cube plus 1. Here degree is 3. It is not a linear polynomial because highest power is 3, that is degree is 3. So it is not a linear polynomial. These are called non-linear polynomial. So a polynomial is said to be linear polynomial only if the degree of the polynomial is 1. Otherwise it is called a non-linear polynomial. So what is the general form of linear polynomial? This is the general form. The general form of linear polynomial is ax plus b, where a is not equal to 0. This is important. If a is equal to 0, then it is not a polynomial, it is just a constant b. Okay. So the coefficient of this highest power of x is not equal to 0, then only it considered as a polynomial. So here what is the general form of linear polynomial? Ax plus b and a is not equal to 0. This is the general form of linear polynomial. General form of linear polynomial. Ax plus b, where a is not equal to 0, is the general form of linear polynomial. Next, what is second type of polynomial? That is quadratic polynomial. Okay, quadratic polynomial. A polynomial of degree 2 is called quadratic polynomial. Here if you see this degree, what is the degree of quadratic polynomial? Degree 2. For linear polynomial, degree 1. For quadratic polynomial, degree 2. If you consider these expressions, these polynomials, here y square minus 2, what is the highest value? 2. So it is degree 2. Here 2x square plus 3x minus 2 by 5. Here what is the highest degree? X square 2. Here 2 minus x square plus root 3x. Here what is the highest degree? X square. So 2. All these polynomials, what is the degree? 2. So these type of polynomials are called quadratic polynomials. The name quadratic is 2 has been derived from the word quadrate. Quadrate means square. Square means 2. In the power, if it is 2 means, then the type is called as quadratic polynomial. Quadratic means 2. Okay, understood now? So what is the general form of a quadratic polynomial? More generally, any quadratic polynomial is in x, any quadratic polynomial in x is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c, here where a is not equal to 0. This is always remember. So more generally, any quadratic polynomial in x is of the form ax square plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 0. Here a, b, c are real numbers and a not equal to 0. This is the general form of quadratic polynomial. Okay. Next type of polynomial, what is it? Cubic polynomial. Cubic polynomial is nothing but a polynomial of degree 3. Degree 3 is called the cubic polynomial. So here if you take these examples, 2 minus x cube, here highest degree is 3, x cube only. Here also highest degree is 3. Root 2 x cube, here highest degree 3. 3x cube plus x square plus 3, here highest degree is 3. So highest degree of any polynomial is 3, then such type of polynomials are called cubic polynomials. Okay. Here also the most general form of cubic polynomial is ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d is equal to 0, where a, b, c, d are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. So if you write any polynomial, here the coefficient of highest power of that polynomial is not equal to 0. Okay, then only it is such type of polynomial. That means cubic polynomial means the highest power of x is the highest power coefficient of that polynomial is a. Highest power is 3, its coefficient is a is not equal to 0, then only it is cubic polynomial. Here also ax square plus bx plus c, if a is not equal to 0, then only it is quadratic polynomial. In the previous one also, ax plus b is equal to b, ax plus b, in that also a is not equal to 0. Okay, that you remember. Okay, so what are three types of polynomials we have seen now? Linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial and cubic polynomial. And next one is value of a polynomial. So we have seen three types of polynomials, and next topic, what is value of a polynomial? What is meant by value of a polynomial? The value of any polynomial p of x at x is equal to k is obtained by replacing or putting k in the polynomial in place of x, that is represented by p of k. So if any polynomial we take p of x, then the value of p of x at x is equal to k is obtained by replacing or putting k value in x. Suppose if you take p of x is equal to x square minus 3x minus 4, this is one polynomial. Then p of 2 means the value of p of x at 2. That means if you substitute 2 value in place of x in this expression, we will get the value of p of 2. So p of 2 is equal to, substitute this value, x square means 2 square minus 3 into 2 minus 4, that is 4 minus 6 minus 4, that is equal to minus 6. Okay, so p of 2 is equal to minus 6. That means the value of the polynomial at x is equal to 2 is minus 6. This is called the value of the polynomial. See another one, p of minus 1. That is value of polynomial p of x at minus 1. Minus 1 whole square minus 3 into minus 1 minus 4. Minus 1 whole square means 1. Minus 3 into minus 1 means plus 3 minus 4 is equal to 0. So p of minus 1 is equal to 0. So the value of p of x at 2 is minus 6. The value of p of x at minus 1 is 0. So this is the value of a polynomial. Simply the value of any polynomial p of x at x is equal to k is obtained by replacing or putting k in the polynomial in place of x. Okay. Here we have seen one example also, how the value of x can be calculated by using the polynomial. Okay. Next one is zeros of the polynomial. So what is meant by 0 of the polynomial? More generally, a real number k is said to be 0 of a polynomial if p of x, then if p of k is equal to 0. If k is called 0 of a polynomial p of x, when if p of k is equal to 0, that means the value of polynomial at k is equal to 0, then it is called a 0 of a polynomial. Suppose here you see in the previous example x square minus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. If you substitute x is equal to minus 1, that is p of minus 1, we get the value 0. We get the value 0. That means this minus 1 is called 0 of the polynomial p of x. Okay. So if the value of the polynomial at any real number k is 0, then it is called a 0 of the polynomial. In general, if k is equal to 0, k is a 0 of p of x, which is equal to ax plus b. This is a linear polynomial. Then p of k is equal to ak plus b is equal to 0. That is k is equal to b by a. Okay. If you see this, consider a linear polynomial. What is the general form of linear polynomial? P of x is equal to ax plus b. Now I need to calculate what is 0 of this p of x. To calculate 0 of p of x, we need a value p of k where ak plus b is equal to 0. That is p of k is equal to 0. Okay. The value of p of x at k is equal to 0, then we will obtain 0 of the polynomial. So by substituting here ak plus b is equal to 0, that is k is equal to minus b by a. If k is equal to minus b by a, then p of k is equal to 0. So this k value minus b by a is called 0 of the polynomial ax plus b. Understood now? So here k is equal to minus b by a, then it is called 0 of the polynomial. So k is equal to minus b by a means p of k is equal to what is ax plus b. In place of x, so if you substitute plus b, so minus b plus b is equal to 0. We will get p of k is equal to 0. So what we have did, we have taken k is equal to minus b by a and substitute this k in the linear expression p of x is equal to ax plus b. That is p of k is equal to a into k plus b. K value if we substitute minus b by a, we will get p of k is equal to 0. That means k is equal to minus b by a is called 0 of the polynomial p of x is equal to ax plus b. Okay. What is meant by 0? If we substitute any value k in that polynomial, we will get the value of that polynomial as 0. Okay. Here one polynomial we have p of x is equal to ax plus b. If we substitute any value x in this polynomial, so that this total expression becomes 0. Okay, understood now? If we substitute any value in place of x, we will get this ax plus b is equal to 0. Then the value of x what we substituted is called 0 of the polynomial. Suppose in place of x if we substitute 1, then this becomes 0, then 1 is 0 of the polynomial. Otherwise if we substitute x is equal to 2, then it becomes 0, then 2 is called 0 of the polynomial. If we substitute 3, then this expression becomes 0, then 3 is called 0 of the polynomial, like that. So in place of x or in place of variable, if we substitute any value so that that expression becomes 0, then it is called 0 of the polynomial. For general form of linear equation p of x is equal to ax plus b, if we calculate what is the 0 of this, then this is the procedure. I am substituting k in place of x. So p of k is equal to ak plus b, and by equating it to 0, I got k is equal to minus b by a. Okay. So the value of x, if you substitute minus b by a, then this expression becomes 0. Understood now? So the value of x, here I have substituted k, which is equal to minus b by a, then a into minus b by a plus b. This expression became 0. Then this x is equal to minus b by a is called the 0 of the polynomial p of x is equal to ax plus b. Minus b by a means minus constant term by coefficient of x. Here constant term is b. What is coefficient of x? A. So minus constant term by coefficient of x is nothing but 0 of this linear polynomial p of x is equal to ax plus b. Okay. Okay friends, in this introduction we have covered 5 topics, that is first one, definition of the polynomial. What is definition of the polynomial? A polynomial is a mathematical expression that uses variables, coefficient, constant combined with addition, subtraction, multiplication and exponentiation. All these many things combined to get a mathematical expression. It is called a polynomial. Okay. And in that we have seen degree of the polynomial. What is degree of the polynomial? Remember this. The highest power of x in p of x is called the degree of the polynomial. Okay, what is the highest power of the variable? Highest power of the variable x is nothing but the degree of the polynomial. Okay, and we have different types of polynomials. What are that? Linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial and cubic polynomial. What is linear polynomial? If polynomial having degree 1, then it is called a linear polynomial. Okay. Polynomial having degree 1 is called a linear polynomial. Polynomial having degree 2 is called a quadratic polynomial. Polynomial having degree 3 is called a cubic polynomial. And what are the general expressions for linear polynomial? Ax plus b, where a is not equal to 0 is the general expression for linear polynomial. And what is the general expression for quadratic polynomial? Ax square plus bx plus c, where a not equal to 0 is the general expression for quadratic polynomial. What is the general expression for cubic polynomial? Ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d is the general expression for cubic polynomial. In this also a not equal to 0. Okay, this is the general expression for cubic polynomial. Next, what is meant by value of the polynomial? Value of the polynomial means the value of any polynomial p of x at x is equal to k, okay, is obtained by replacing or putting k in the polynomial in place of x. If p of x is the given expression, then we want value of polynomial p of x at x is equal to k means simply substitute k in place of x. Then what is the expression value we got? That is nothing but value of the polynomial. So here this is the polynomial. What is the value at x is equal to 2 means simply we substitute 2 value in this expression. So p of 2 is equal to 2 square minus 3 into 2 minus 4, we get minus 6. Similarly p of minus 1 is equal to, by substituting we got 0. So the value of this polynomial at 2 is minus 6, the value of polynomial at minus 1 is 0. Simply the value of polynomial is nothing but by replacing the value by replacing the variable with the given value, we get the value of the polynomial in that. Okay. Next, zeros of the polynomial. What is meant by zero of the polynomial? If you substitute any value k such that that expression becomes 0, then it is called zero of the polynomial. Okay. So the value of the polynomial for a real number k is 0. The value of a polynomial for a real number. That means if we substitute k value in the variable x, we get 0, then it is called the 0 of the polynomial. So here general expression for linear equation is linear polynomial is p of x is equal to ax plus b. In this if we substitute k, such that P of k is equal to 0, we got k is equal to minus b by a. Then this minus b by a is called 0 of the polynomial P of x is equal to ax plus b. So here what is the 0 of this polynomial, linear polynomial? Minus b by a, that is minus constant term by coefficient of x. Okay friends. In next videos I will cover remaining topics. Okay friends, till now if any doubts are there, please mention in comments. Okay, thank you friends. Please like and subscribe my videos.